Shabbat Shalom. I'm Rabbi Robert Barr, and I'm pleased you're joining me and one another for this streaming Shabbat service. This is a chance for us to pause, to catch a breath, to think about where we've been, and to think about where we're going. For the days, they flow into one another without interruption. Time races on. The Sabbath is our means to divert time, a stepping off point, pausing with friends and loved ones to observe, then rejoice in the wonder-filled coincidence of living. There can be a sense of pleasure in every given breath, blessed with taste to savor and warmth to give and to receive, bestowed with gifts of sight and sound. We are obliged to cherish and revel in each smile, in every musical note. The Sabbath also awakens us to the silence between notes. It speaks of contemplation, the quiet delight of literature, of unhurried walks, of rare conversations. The Sabbath can be our interlude, our ritual pause in this lively current, our signal to step more lightly, to appreciate more profoundly, to dive more deeply into the questions that life is asking. Again, I'm Rabbi Robert Barr of Congregation Beth Adam, which is our bricks and mortar congregation here in Loveland, Ohio. That's part of Greater Cincinnati, and Our Jewish Community, which is our online initiative, which we began now 14 years ago. We went online recognizing that being online afforded us an opportunity to remain connected with members who had moved out of Cincinnati, students who grew up in Cincinnati but moved on as they became adults, and then people who encountered us somehow. Maybe they read about us or they did a Google search and they learned about this unique congregation. During the pandemic, we really relied on the internet to remain connected as a community. And now that the pandemic has receded and we are doing things back in our building, we still recognize that having a hybrid community, a community that uses both technology, the online component, as well as being here face-to-face in our bricks and mortar community, that's really important. We can serve and relate to lots of people in different ways, and you're part of that. But it's more than just the technology. It's more than that. It's the message that's so important. Here at Congregation Beth Adam, for over 40 plus years, we've been giving voice to a bold, dynamic Judaism. That's why we were able to embrace the internet long before many other congregations. We're not afraid of modernity. We're certainly not afraid of the future. And we do not need to feel constrained and held back by the past. Our ancestors did what they needed to do to give expression to who they were. And it's incumbent upon us to give expression to who we are, what we believe, what we think, informed by new information and technology that they never had access to. You're part of that tonight and whenever you join us. Now, being online affords us other interesting possibilities. You can chat with one another. I know folks on the bethadam.org website who are watching the streaming service like to chat with each other. That's great. Other people like to participate on one of our Facebook pages. Either one, all these things are great options. But if you are chatting, be welcoming and kind, and certainly let us know where you are participating from. I hope you enjoy the service, and I certainly hope that you continue to join us through the year ahead. Now, we continue our service with the lighting of the candles. The candles of Shabbat stand before us, waiting to meet the flame, longing to share their warmth, ready to shed their light. Like those who came before us, like all people, we find comfort in fear and flame, endless swirl of fascination, mystery and awe. Like those who came before us, like all people, we are graced with the desire and the will to understand. So we continue our ancestors' search for answers, pushing away the darkness of ignorance. The flames they saw as magic and beyond comprehension became flames of knowledge and hope. But still, we look with wonder, inspired by their beauty and their power. We embrace the flames of Shabbat. We embrace the light, our vessel of mystery and understanding. As we light our Shabbat candles, we celebrate our journey, our quest, our moment of peace. May the light of our people shine. May the light of the Shabbat cast its warmth in our homes. May these candles burn with respect for all who push beyond the bonds of ignorance, for all who seek justice, for all who build community. May these candles burn with memory of all who came before us. May we draw on the many ways our people have given voice to their ideas and values. May we add our own insight to their glow. Baruch ha'or ba'olam, blessed is the light within the world. Baruch ha'or ba'adam, blessed is the light within each person. Baruch ha'or ba'Shabbat, blessed is the light of the Sabbath. So, as you probably know, the Super Bowl, that football game that has taken on such importance in American culture, is just a few weeks away. Now, I want to let you know that Rabbi Burstein and I recorded a conversation before the Bengals lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. We recorded our conversation because we wanted to talk about how the Super Bowl has become this American phenomenon and the rituals and aspects of it that have a sort of a religious quality. So we talked about it, and we didn't want to get too invested in our team. We just wanted to talk about the whole concept of the Super Bowl. So we had a great time. We had a lot of fun talking about it. And we're going to be using it, as Rabbi Burstein mentioned, with our kids. So I hope you enjoy our conversation and maybe think about the Super Bowl a little bit differently afterwards. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. I had good travels. But we're going to talk about something incredibly exciting, incredibly important, incredibly American. We are talking about the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl.
So I want to be clear. We are recording this conversation before we even know which teams are in the Super Bowl.
Right, before the championship games.
Right. We decided to do that. And I did that intentionally because it's not about what teams are in it, because it's only 2. That means there's a lot of teams that aren't in it.
Yep, 30, yeah.
Right. But it seems that you just said to me as we were talking that your team's not
my team's not in it. Like my team that I grew up with, that's my home team.
So so it's what you're trying to.
You said something to me afterwards. You said you will find a team, and I'm like, I will.
You'll find a team that you're going to root for, either the team that beat your team,
right? Yeah, always a good
right,
which is both of them. So
so it's that, or you get the team that your team beat, but. Right.
Or you get the team in this case, there might be one of the teams in the town that we live in.
Right. So you do that, or a town or your kids.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's the Super Bowl has become this American cultural phenomena.
Right.
And to the extent that some people are actually saying that the day after the Super Bowl, because it's Super Bowl Sunday,
there should be a day off.
There's actually, I was reading an article about turning the Monday after the Super Bowl, I guess it would be called Super Bowl Monday, should be a day off because the percentage of people who call in is incredibly high.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have over 110, 120, 130 million people watching this game.
Right. It is the single largest event
around the world,
that pulls people together. And what I find,
just like Shabbat service,
just like Shabbat, there's 110,000 people, 110 million people, right?
To support us. We're going to be the team that takes you to Shabbat.
Well, maybe it's we just need better uniforms. But you think about this, I mean, I remember a time before the Super Bowl. Right? You may not. I do.
When's the first Super Bowl?
That was Joe Namath. Right? That was
63. 63 maybe?
So
my first Super Bowl I remember watching was 72.
Okay.
So I was 6 at that point. So.
Okay. But I remember like when the Joe Namath, but the fact is it's a new phenomenon.
It is 69. That's Joe Namath.
Okay. So it's okay. Thank you. You know,
it's bad.
Okay.
This is why I struggle with other stuff in my life. Like I don't know where my keys are, but I can tell you.
So it's what is amazing is this event, sporting event, but it has grown and become an American it's become a holiday, and it's very hard to create a holiday, and there are rituals around it.
Absolutely.
There's tribalism, which is your team.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot, and there's gambling, which is a sort of a side piece and commercials. The commercials have become
money.
So there's commercialism and consumerism and patriotism, because there's usually some element
always have the jets flying across. Yeah,
it brings a lot of elements together.
It's so interesting because we're downstairs in our village, excuse me. We're working this year on how do you build a tribe. So we're going to use the Super Bowl as an example of like, how do you build a ritual? Like, what are the things you need to make something sticky?
Mhm.
And then the next piece is going to be, how do you make a holiday out of that ritual?
Mhm.
And so it's so perfect that we're talking about this because it has all the sticky points, right? You have common goal. The game itself is won or lost.
Mhm.
It's exciting. It's everybody can gather around and have food. I mean, food is a huge deal. It's about community.
Well, in Cincinnati, so food, just before I forget. So we're in Cincinnati, and in Cincinnati, one of the foods off for Super Bowl, and a lot of it is skyline dip, right?
Greek chili.
It's Greek
sweet chili.
Right? It's a sweet chili, and skyline dip is the chili with cream cheese, and then and cheddar. Not what
I'm not going to like comment deeply on this because it's upsetting.
You don't eat any of it. I eat.
It's not even that I don't eat it. It's just like it's a weird chili. So
well, it's a weird chili thing, but it's eaten with Frito chips. Okay, you scoop spaghetti. It. Well, no. But this is
scoop.
This is the tip. Yeah. Last year, my son was up, and our daughter she had made it, and they forgot to buy Fritos. So my son and I went out to try to buy Frito chips. We went to the gas station. They were out. We went to Kroger, the big Kroger around the corner. There was literally the entire Frito section was empty. We went to another grocery store.
You got to have your communion wafer for the
exactly. The other one was empty. We finally went to a gas station. We found like two little lunch-sized bags that you did, and but food becomes. I have no doubt that there are other foods in other communities that are part of the Super Bowl ritual. I'm guessing pizza.
Yeah, and like interesting, like mayors of cities or governors of states will bet food against each other.
Right.
And like the whole thing right now is that Kansas City is playing Cincinnati. Town.
Yeah, this is the game.
This is the one of the games, right. And Kansas City has its own type of chili, right? Like that's hot. It's like Mexican Tex-Mex, and we have this sweet. And the comments that are going back and forth between the two teams, the two fan bases, it's just insane.
So how? I mean, the power of all this really, because you were joking about Shabbat services, but the fact is
true.
This game attracts probably more energy and more excitement and more tribalism than any religion does.
Oh, right? Yeah,
other than fundamentalist religion.
Absolutely. Other than like snakes and all that kind of stuff. This is it. This is, I mean, and we laughingly say in my family that we're all from Boston, that, you know, we're Boston sports fans first and Jews second, like as far as a religion. But I mean, you know that because your kids went to University of Michigan and you've gone to games there. It is a religion. It's not like
I stayed up. I was something that people know that we were in Italy. We were teaching overseas. My wife was teaching overseas, and Michigan was playing in a football game on New Year's Day.
Yes.
Right. Well, it was New Year's night in where we were, and we would stay up till 2 a.m. because you watch, and we were texting.
That was a good game.
But there is that you get invested in it. So you get invested in your tribe.
Yeah, and it's a common language. There's a common language to it, right? I'm sorry, I'm interrupting.
Go when you said it. Tell me.
No, there's like a common language. Like people in America speak sports. Like that's one of the languages that people speak. Oh. So what they realized when they were developing this ritual is like, okay, it's okay for these people that speak sports or football. We need something else for other people. Mm-hmm. So they do this halftime show, right? Like it's music or Rihanna this year. So they have all the like music people want to going to happen. And then you have the advertising people that want to see what's going on with advertising. And then you have the community gathering. So it's like, it's the perfect storm of like all the things that make a good ritual. Now, whether it's good or not is up to debate, but like the ritual itself is the holiday part of it. It's just, it has everything.
It does. I mean, so
it has Thanksgiving. It has the intensity of a religious holiday. It has the patriotism of July 4th. Like it's a mashup.
It is. That's a great word. It's a mashup. Yeah. I mean, the halftime show has, I mean, I don't remember the early halftimes, but they've become these major artists. And there's controversy about, they were doing for a while, they were doing what I would guess baby boomer artists, right?
This is true. Yeah.
Right. And there was people were getting upset. There were young people like, why do they keep on doing baby boomer
And then there's some things is, so they hype up these halftime shows and they lip sync it. Most of them is lip sync because you're in a stadium. The sound can't do it. And you're just like, people are watching somebody lip sync something and 110. And it's interesting. I was thinking about your commercials. Like some people don't watch the game. They just watch for the commercials because everybody realized you got a lot of eyes and we're going to put this here. And the commercials themselves, like people rate them and grade them. And there's like lists and, I know people that I watch the Super Bowl that go to the bathroom during the game and then they stay for the commercials.
Well, so as I said, we're recording this about 2 weeks before the game. That was there are already online teasers for the commercials.
Yeah.
So you can watch a 15-second brief one. So I just watched one of Ozzy Osbourne. Right. So Ozzy Osbourne, great old rock star, I guess you'd say, is in this commercial. It's in a commercial, I think, about like workplace HR. I mean,
so much weird stuff.
And then there's the Clydesdales. There's
and then there's the branding, like the branding of a Super Bowl, like who's in charge. This is the Pepsi halftime show, or this is. Well,
there's controversies about last year because there was a lot about Bitcoin, not Bitcoin.
There was
the FTX, is
FTX,
right? And then that was the commercial, and now the people who were in that commercial are being sued because that went bankrupt, and that's the whole thing with.
So it's so American. Like I have to say, if there's like one American holiday, it's the Super Bowl.
More than
any of the other ones,
right?
Because there's not even like patriotism or like, oh, people died for this. Like it's a game. Right. But it's become, and the game itself is perfect for ritual too, right? Because it's super tough and it's about, football is about war. That's literally what it is.
Right, sure. It's conflict.
And now we're coming off of, which is so interesting for me. We're coming off this horrible injury that happened only 5 weeks ago to this young man who got hit in the chest during a game and died, like literally died on the field, and everybody watched it happen. And then obviously the medical teams took care of him and whatever. So there's a tension amongst even people like myself who've been football fans forever. Like, at what point do we stop watching this?
Right. It's a violent game.
A violent game, but we love that as a ritual.
And then you watch and you see. The athleticism.
It's like the Second Temple stuff, right? And Judaism, but like animal sacrifice, like that was all about the show, right?
Right.
Like
Sure. If you did it,
and there's incense and all that stuff, and. Yeah, that's basically what we do. But yeah, it is the perfect holiday. It just like if you blocked out what the holiday needs,
right? And they'll start. They're already. Weeks out, they're already beginning. So the commercials, they're starting to talk about what the commercials are going to be. So they're beginning to get everybody. The whole ritual of which teams get in. The different teams are still doing that. We're the halftime. I didn't know about the halftime show. I have no doubt some of us have probably already made arrangements to have friends over, right? Friends over. We're going to all have, and what everyone's going to bring. And if you're in Cincinnati, make sure you buy your Fritos chip.
Early. Your Fritos early, especially if we're in it.
And cream cheese. Apparently the cream. My daughter said that they got like the last bar of cream cheese. So it's and I have no doubt. Depend when there's been war. But when there's been more conflict, there's more patriotism. They add elements of it, recognizing the military. They'll do something.
Well, it's interesting. I remember in Boston after the Patriots Day bombing in the Boston Marathon. There was a lot of outpouring in the sports arenas. That's where they did it because it was during baseball season and it was during hockey season, and both of those teams did stuff to honor, and there was this perfect storm also in that case of this going on together. And there's so much power in it, and the reason that sports carries so much power is that we don't know how it's going to end, right? Like it's the unknown, right? Okay. Like, that's why when people cheat in sports, it's so bad. That's why they take it so, like the Black Sox scandal or other cheating scandals, because it's the one thing in life we just don't know how it's going to end.
Right.
And there's something about all of us watching it. Nobody knows how this is going to end.
Right. Well,
nobody knows who's going to win.
Right. And we're watching it all at the same time. It's we're all together in it versus, in a world of streaming. This is a real event. One of the few I've talked to friends of mine who are like in the advertising industry and in TV. This is one of those things that everyone's doing at the same time.
Yeah, so
We're
true.
in a world where everyone's doing things at their own time with streaming and podcasts. This bring you, if you're going to watch it, you're going to watch it at the same time, unless you have to work. And then you want no one to tell you what happens, so you can watch it, a video of it later.
And this is like a W, right? So you just had the World Cup, right, of soccer
Mhm.
or football in Europe they call it, but it's the same thing. The whole world watched,
Right.
but it's not like football here.
No, because I said to somebody, for like 25 minutes, I was a soccer fan. The last 25 minutes of that game. But this one, I have a better sense of what's going on, but it feels like as slowly as we're getting closer to it, more you walk. I have no doubt you're going to walk. Oh, I did. I walked into the grocery store and there were displays that are Super Bowl branded food displays.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and beer, of course. I mean, you can't have a football.
The alcohol level, the alcohol industry, like
right.
Yeah.
But it's beer, right?
All beer.
That's what
beer and Bitcoin last year.
Beer,
that's what the commercials were.
Right.
Beer and Bitcoin. That's all
right.
it was.
So it's going to be beer this year and something else.
Yeah, we saw how that panned out.
Right?
No, but I do appreciate talking about this because it really makes you think, what is this a metaphor for in our own lives as Americans, but also in the lives of people that, are involved in rituals and holidays. I mean, it has everything. And in that, there's a huge responsibility. And there's also a huge amount of they were talking about pushing the game. They were trying to figure out the game that the Bills and the Bengals played.
Because
the guy got hurt.
Right.
And so they canceled the game, which was absolutely the right thing to do.
Right.
I mean, neither team could play.
No, that would
I had friends who were at the game, and they said it was completely silent, like the whole stadium.
Sure.
But they were trying to figure out to push it back, and they're like, "Well, we have 2 weeks. So there's championship games will be played this weekend, like upcoming weekend, and then there's 2 weeks off for the Super Bowl." And they're like, "Well, we could just take one of those weeks and have the game and push it back." And they're like, "No." And the reason is they need this ramp up time. They need the 2 weeks to get us all in a froth about the football game. And they run out of stories after week 1. And then that's when you get all the background stories. You're like, you'll get a Frito story.
Well, I'm sure I have no doubt. So here's one of my predictions.
Okay. Yeah, wait, you should watch. Is this going to be on this service tonight?
No. Well,
I was going to say the premonition.
But this is a premonition about and prediction about the Super Bowl. I think the M&Ms are going to have a big surprise. I think I think some of you may have been watching that the
M&Ms over, right? The branding is shifting.
Well, they changed the costumes. I don't know how to change a costume on a cartoon character, but and then it got onto Fox News and all this stuff. And
if it's on Fox News, then.
Right. So, but they're already talking about that. They're setting this up, right? That all of a sudden there's going to be a reveal of. And it was like some of you may remember when Mr. Peanut died. That was right. And they did a whole thing. And so the Super Bowl, what I find it's this confluence of all these things coming together in a way that I think maybe old religion did when you talked about the Second Temple, when it was just a massive community experience. And now it doesn't have that sort of kind of.
Yeah, they have to really push it. They have to really push it. And I mean, I just love the image of you trying to fund a University of Michigan football game in Italy.
Oh, right.
And probably you're watching. If I don't know if you watched.
We watched it. We actually watched it in our room.
Yeah, but I'm sure there were bars. People found each other.
Oh, we know. We literally know what we checked that out. Yeah, people were going to do that. We were a little bit older than the rest of the crowd. We decided we're not going to be out till 2 a.m. And as a function of that, we wanted to see it. So there's these interesting elements of the Super Bowl that's quite powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that speaks to creating rituals. It speaks to bringing people together. And within a couple of days, it'll be a forgotten memory, other than for the team that won and maybe the community that's doing something.
Right. They'll have a parade to kind of pull it along. And then, yeah, I mean, it's exciting, and it's to watch it through this lens now is fascinating.
So I'm really excited that you're doing this as part of the religious school.
Religious school. We're talking about rituals and how to develop them and build them, because it's really important. Like, it's that if you can understand that, the rest of it falls into place.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's great. So
I
that's
can tell you one of the 4 teams that's left will be winning the Super Bowl.
one of the 4
That's
teams.
what everybody should-
There's your
There's not going to be a 5th team that comes in and wins.
It doesn't work that
Although
way.
there are people that probably think there should be at different places, but yes.
Well, I'm sure, I have no doubt, but that power. So for those of you who are watching, I assume almost everyone will watch it. You'll watch the commercials. And if you don't watch the commercials in real time, you'll see it the next
You should be
morning.
buying Fritos right now.
Fritos right now. You're going to watch,
You'll watch Joseph's story. You have to save up the grain, right? Like,
save up the grain. Save up your Fritos
Save
right
your
now.
Fritos right now.
You'll watch the game. Whoever you root for, I'm sure everyone's going to find a team that they're going to root for.
Absolutely.
You know, whether or not they're your team.
Yeah.
But that team that you root for. I hope you enjoy it, and everyone stay safe. Be careful. Don't drink and drive. Certainly is a big part of the experience, but it can be a lot of fun. And then what we'll do, we'll come back at some point. We'll talk about which was your favorite commercial.
We'll unpack the ritual.
We'll unpack the ritual. So you all be safe. So you'll watch this. This is our attempt to get you geared up for the Super Bowl, because we're going to be we're streaming.
We're sponsored by Pepsi.
We're sponsored by, if we
they came across.
Oh, that's right. If we were sponsored by Pepsi, that would really be good. The congregation would be in great shape. So we're watching this before the Super Bowl, so it's getting you ready. We're doing our part to help make this American ritual even stronger. So Shabbat Shalom. So go whatever team you support. So as you can tell, Rabbi Bursey and I had a lot of fun with that conversation. It really is interesting to look at an American phenomenon, the Super Bowl, and begin to see it through different aspects and see how it has taken on an importance greater than the game itself, and how it has been ritualized, and how we can learn about religion through that lens. It's a fun conversation. I hope you now will look at the Super Bowl a little bit differently than you did before. We continue our service with the sharing of wine. Life is a wondrous gift. The mind observes with awe, and appreciation flows from the heart. Life's joyful bounties are unveiled. Such treasures abound in ordinary moments. A familiar face, the simplicity of a smile, tender kisses, the warmth and security of a hug, enchanting melodies, the grace of dance, the coolness of sculpted marble. A remarkable story. The complexity of atomic structure, thunder's reverberation, the shimmering of a rainbow, intoxicating rose petals. These moments become opportunities to affirm that which is good. As we lift the cup, a tribute to life's enchantments, may we find joy and contentment in our human endeavors. Ruchim chachayim ba'olam, blessed is the life within the world. Ruchim chachayim ba'adam, blessed is the life within each person. And we say, l'chaim, to life. Delighted that you joined me and one another for this streaming Shabbat service. To learn more about the programs of the congregation, go to bethadam.org. Bethadam.org. There you will see our calendar and our upcoming events. For some events, such as our hybrid Shabbat services and our adult education, you do need a Zoom link, and you would need to get that through contacting our congregational office. But if you explore our website, you'll learn more about Beth Adam. You can listen to my podcast if you've not done that. I've recorded 500 or 600, maybe even more than that. Used to be on iTunes, but now you can only hear me exclusively on our bethadam.org website. So take a listen. And I hope you continue to join us in the weeks ahead. And we conclude with the words that we conclude with each week. May we know blessings, those who are near. May we know blessings, those who are far. May the Sabbath bring its goodness to everyone soon, wherever they are. May we know blessings through the day, and may we know blessings through the night. May health be for our children and for all people, and all things soon be right. May we know blessings in our comings. May we know blessings when we depart. May we live each day with peace and wisdom in each heart. Ken Yehi, let it be. Shabbat Shalom.